Good day and welcome to my fourth video on addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. In videos 1 and 2 we had covered addition and subtraction, and video 3 we had done multiplication and division. Today we'll be mixing all of them into one question. So before we get started, just have a look at the corner, the right hand corner of the screen, and well, the middle of the screen here. On the side here, you will be seeing the rules right throughout the video for addition and subtraction, and below it will be the multiplication and division rules. Now the aim of this exercise is to try to get the student to understand when to use the addition and subtraction rules and when to use the multiplication and division rules. So let's get started with our first question. Our first question is 4 minus 2x minus 8y divided by minus 2 plus 10 minus 5y divided by 5. Now, to simplify this, the first thing we'll need to realize is that there are two fractions here. There are only two fractions on the board. A fraction consists of an item on top, the numerator, and an item underneath, which is the denominator. Now, this is what I usually tell my students, this is a very scary looking fraction. It's not a nice looking fraction, but at the end of the day, it's still one fraction. And over here, we have a less scary numerator than this one. But at the end of the day, it has one divide sign. So one divide sign means one fraction. So on the board, we have two separate fractions. How do we need to interpret this? First of all three items get divided by the item underneath. So the 4 will get divided by the minus 2. The minus 2x gets divided by the minus 2. And also, the minus 8y will get divided by the minus 2. And a similar situation here. Both items will get divided by the 5. Now I'm going to rewrite this so it will be a little easier to deal with. I'm going to rewrite these three being divided by minus 2. 4 minus 2x minus 8y. And we can put a separate divide sign for each one. Similar situation here, 10 minus 5y, and both of them get divided by 5. Now, if you're now starting off, maths, and you're not really too good at it, it's very important that you always specify whether a number is positive or negative. In video 1 and video 2, I kept saying over and over that if you look to the left of a number, and you don't see any signs, well, you have to assume it is positive. So I will put in a positive here, because when you look to the left, you don't see a sign, but everything else has a sign here. The 5, when you look to the left, you see nothing, so it's a positive, and a similar situation here. Now keep in mind that this positive, this one here, belongs to both of the items, the one on top and the one underneath. But just to make calculations a little bit simpler, anytime you have something that's smack in the middle of a fraction, you see when the positive sign is over here, you don't know whether to apply it to the top or the underneath. The truth is you have to apply it to both, but just for calculation purposes, I always tell my students to pretend that if something is smack in the middle, to pretend it's light and let it float up to the top. So the positive sign will float up to the top to meet the 10. So I want everyone to look at the multiplication and division rules. The multiplication and division rules will be applied to the question at the moment because there's a lot of division to do. So look over there. So when we are multiplying or dividing, in this case it's division, it's okay to employ the N, the L, and the S. We'll do the numbers first, then the letters, and then the signs. So let's get started. Let's do all the numbers first. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 10 divided by 5 is 2. And 5 divided by 5 is 1. So we're done with the numbers. Let's do the letters now. These two, there are no letters involved. This one, the letter involved was X. The letter involved here was Y. No letters here, so let's move on. And the letter here is Y. So we're finished with the letters. Let's do the signs now. Keep in mind it's it's multiplication and division. So you're paying attention to these rules here. So a positive divided by a negative is a negative. When you divide two negatives, you get a positive. When you divide two negatives, once again we get a positive. You divide two positives, you get a positive. A lot of students make a mistake and say, when you divide two positives, you get a negative. When you divide two positives, you actually get back a positive. A negative divided by a positive is a negative. We're finished with all the divisions. So now we have to simplify our question. So our question over here was a division question, but now it's an addition and subtraction question. So we don't use these rules. We're going to use the addition and subtraction rules. And when you're adding and subtracting, it's a good idea to do some grouping, like all the x's, put them together, all the y's, put them together, and everything without a y, put them separately. So, well, over here we have an x. So I'm circling all the x's, all the y's, I'll put a squiggly line underneath, and I'll put an arrow underneath the numbers without any letters. So let's put all the x's. Well, the x's have no friends here, so if we add up all the x's, we'll just simply get positive 1x. Let's handle the y's now. Pay attention to the y's, the squiggly lines. This is addition and subtraction. You notice you have positive 4y and minus 1y. Both of them have the same type of letters, so it's okay to add and subtract them. Different signs according to rule 2 means minus. So 4 minus 1 is 3. Rule number 3 states that you always have to put back the sign of the larger number. So which one is larger, the 4 or the 1? I will go with the 4. What sign does the 4 have? Positive. And don't forget to put back the letter that's involved, which is the letter Y. Who's next? In items without any numbers, without any letters, sorry. Well, minus 2 plus 2. The signs are different, so we can minus. According to rule 2, different signs mean minus. So 2 minus 2 is 0. And in this case here, neither number is bigger than the other ones, right? So it doesn't matter if you put a positive or a negative. Let's just put a positive. Also, if we're adding 0, it's perfectly okay to leave it out of the answer if you get 0. This is our final answer. We cannot do anything further with this question because according to the addition and subtraction rules, if you keep your eye on rule 4, if the letters are different, you cannot add them or squish them together to get one answer. So this is our final answer. Let's try another one. Let's try one where there's some multiplication involved and also some addition and subtraction. Let's try this. This will be question 2. In the meantime, you can probably just read the rules on the side here to keep it fresh in your head. Let's try this question here. Question 2. Minus 3, open brackets, 2x minus 1, close brackets, plus 4, 2 minus 10x. Alright, the aim of this question is to try to simplify it as much as possible. And I have a good feeling we're going to end up adding, subtracting, and we're going to bounce up some multiplication in this question. First things first, this is probably the first time you're seeing brackets in any of my videos. What you need to remember is, when you have a bracket and a number or an item outside, just outside the brackets, and there's nothing in between, you have to know it's a multiply. Similarly over here, between here and here, there's a multiply. I want you to put in the multiply sign. Don't imagine it. Physically write in the multiply sign. So, what do brackets mean? Brackets, everyone, if you see 2 items or even a million items inside the brackets, it means that all the items inside the brackets gets multiplied by the item just outside the brackets. Now, most students, you notice the 3 is closer to the 2x, so a lot of students only multiply the closest item and they will forget about the item that's further away. The rules of brackets are very simple. Every single item inside the brackets gets multiplied by the item just outside the brackets. So, since it's multiplication at the moment, we will look at these rules. Of course, if it's multiplication, we can use the N, the L, and the S. So let's get rid of these brackets first. Let's expand these brackets or multiply out the brackets first. So let's start with the numbers first. I'll do this brackets first, and when I've completely finished with this, then I'll move up to the other brackets. So let's start with the numbers first. 3 multiplied by 2 is 6. 3 multiplied by 1 is 3. We're finished with the numbers. Let's go to the letters. When we were multiplying these two, the X was involved. When we were multiplying these two, there were no letters involved. Let's do the signs. This 2x here, is he positive or negative? You see nothing to the left, so it's automatically positive. Negative multiplied by positive, according to these rules, will give you a negative. A negative by a negative will give you a positive. That's it for this brackets. We cannot add these two because he has an x and he doesn't have an x. And according to the addition and subtraction rules, if the letter types are different, you cannot squish them together to get one answer. You notice when I multiply the brackets are no longer there. We have gotten rid of the brackets. And be happy. I always tell students, whenever you see brackets, think of it as something bad. And you always try to get rid of it. Let's try this one. So, let's do the same procedure here. Numbers first. 4 by 2 is 8. 4 by 10 is 40. We're finished with the numbers. Let's do the letters now. When we are multiplying these two, no letters. When you are multiplying these two, the letter X was involved. This is positive. Well, I know I wrote the positive kind of far from the 4, but the rules are, if you want to know the sign of a number or any item, you have to look to the left. So this positive actually belongs to the 4. Is this 2 positive or negative? If we look to the left, we see nothing, so it's automatically positive. A positive by a positive is a positive, right? A positive multiplied by a positive is a positive. A positive multiplied by a negative is a negative. Alright. So, now we have gotten rid of the brackets, and we did that by multiplying. Now, our question has been turned into an addition and subtraction question. So we're no longer using these rules. We have to switch our mindset now and use the addition and subtraction rules. So, let me circle all the x's. You notice I circled the sign because this sign belongs to the 6x. And he also has an x, so I'm circling the sign also. These two have no letters. So, these two, you can bring them together, and these two, you can put them on that side. Or you could do it in your head. Let's pay attention. I'm going to do it in my head and not actually physically bring them together, but I want you to pay attention to these two bubbles. minus 6x minus 40x. Both of them have the same exact sign. Same signs mean add. So 6 plus 40 is 46. You always put back the letter involved, and you have to put back the sign of the larger number, which is rule number 3. Which one is larger, the 6 or the 40? 40 is larger. And what sign does the 40 carry? A minus sign. Let's handle the numbers without any letters attached to them. Notice the signs are the same. This is an addition and subtraction question. Same signs mean add. 3 plus 8 is 11. There are no letters here, and you must put back the sign of the larger number according to rule 3. Which one is larger? The 8. What sign does the 8 carry? A positive. This is your final answer, because once again, if you're adding and subtracting, according to rule number 4, the letter types must be the same. They are different. This one has an X, this one doesn't have an X. That's the end of the question. Alright, let's try one more question. Right, hopefully this one will be a little more challenging than these two. Alright. This one will involve brackets again. Alright. Now, once again, you see brackets, and usually when you see brackets on an item and there's nothing in between, well, there's a multiply. However, these types of questions usually confuse students, because in the last question there was a number outside the brackets, and usually when there's a letter there's a number attached to it, like 3x. What about this y? Do you see any numbers there? So I'm not too sure why it confuses students, why when they see a letter and nothing here. It freaks them out a little bit. Whenever you see a letter without a number, it is automatically 1. So I want you to put in a 1 there. Don't imagine the 1 physically writing the 1. Take my advice, write it in. Also, you see a minus sign here and you see nothing here. I want you to assume it's a 1. And what do we have in between here and here? A multiply. What do we have in between the brackets and the number? A secret multiply. Write it in. So let's do this. So the question now is like question 2 that we just did. Let's multiply or expand out the brackets using the N, the L, and the S, because this is a multiplication question right now. So you're not looking at the addition and subtraction, you're looking at the multiplication and division rules. So let's start with the numbers. 1 by 3 is 3. 1 by 1 is 1. Let's do these guys one time. 4 multiplied by 1 is 4, and 4 multiplied by 1 is 4. You notice I multiplied both items by the 4, and I multiplied both items by the 1. Everybody inside the brackets gets multiplied by the item outside. So we finished with the numbers, so now is the letters. When we are multiplying these two, I believe X was involved. These two have no letters. These two have no letter involved. Or when you were multiplying these two, Y was involved. So we finished with the letters. Who's next? Signs. This 3, if you look to the left, is a positive because we saw nothing, and this 1 is also a positive because when we look to the left, we saw nothing. Negative multiplied by a positive, it's a negative. A negative multiplied by next positive, it's a negative. A negative multiplied by a positive is a negative, and a negative multiplied by a next negative, this time it's a positive. Now it's an addition and subtraction question. So what we should do, we should put all the, group all the X's or the Y's and, handle one type of letter at a time. So I'm going to circle the X's. I'll circle I'll box off the Y's, put a square on it. Doesn't matter what symbol I use once the symbols are different. And this time I'll put the squiggly lines underneath the normal, regular numbers without letters. Now, like I said, it doesn't matter which order you do this in. Usually I do the X's first, and then the Y's, and then everything without the letters. This time I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to do the items without the letters. The only reason I'm doing that is because I just feel like it. So, let's add and subtract. Look at those rules. Signs are the same. Negative, negative. So we're going to add. 1 plus 4 is 5. Always put back the sign of which number? The larger number according to rule 3. The 4 is larger. So the answer is minus 5. The minus 3x has no friends to combine with. The 4y has no other y's in the question to combine with. So we just put back the minus 3x and the positive 4y. That's the end of that question. Because y, x, and no letters, all of them are completely different. And according to addition and subtraction, rule 4, you can't squish them together or combine them to get one answer. So, this is my final answer. Now, once again, I hope that you enjoyed everything here and you understood everything. And of course, if you're from Trinidad and Tobago and you're interested in some extra lessons, feel free to check the website below. And of course, once again, don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to leave the comments below. Of course, if you have any requests for any topic, please feel free to contact me. I'll try my best to make it happen. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day or night.